Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Today here we are back with a new video on parts. Before I proceed further with the parts topic, there is a last video which I have uploaded on interlock block. So that is a video which is based on conceptual modeling. You people can go and see how I have modeled that. In Revit, sometimes it becomes difficult when there are undulations on the surface or else the wall isn't symmetrical. In that case, that conceptual modeling method becomes very handy. So today here we are going to deal with the parts. So I will be differentiating how different parts as well as conceptual modeling is. Recently, I have also finished an edit work series. So this time, what series I have to start off, I have to think. If you have any suggestions, kindly let me know. So jumping on to Revit. So what I have done here is I have drawn many elements here. There is a wall, there is another wall, and then there are floors, then there are undulated floor. So what I am trying to demonstrate is, for example, this is a flow here, and you can see that I have applied a material, and this material is a timber. Okay, so this is sort of a timber hatch which I have provided, and again you can clearly see that this is a 2D material. Okay, so there isn't any 3D information about the lines that are going here. If we see the same material in 3D, what will happen? You see that there are again these 2D lines in the form of a material. Just imagine if there becomes a need for me to extract the quantity of these timber bars, how difficult it will be, because as this is 2D, I can't do anything much. Okay, so here it is a very straightforward hatch pattern which is there in Revit, but 99% of the time this will not happen because client will be having some other requirement wherein he will give you a pattern which doesn't exist in Revit. So using PyRevit, you have to create that hatch pattern. Okay, in future I will be covering a video on you can like on how you can create a new pattern, but as of now just consider that a client has given you a pattern and he wants a quantity for those patterns as well. How you will be executing that in Revit, it becomes a big question. If you go for conceptual modeling, again you will not be getting this floor category because conceptual modeling deals in massing. Okay, if you try to do with the hatch pattern, with the fill pattern, with the material, what will happen? You will not be getting the exact quantity of these elements. Okay, so there is one option in Revit which gives us all the flexibilities, and that option is known as parts. If I select this floor here, you can see this create part option pop up, and it gives a small demonstration on how we can use it. For example, before I proceed further onto parts, let me just demonstrate how this 2D pattern works. For example, here to this default floor, I have given this pattern. Okay, just consider that a client has given you a pattern which doesn't exist and you have created a pattern somehow. Let us consider that you have created this pattern. What will happen now? So as this is a 2D pattern and this is again a foreground pattern, but there becomes a need sometimes wherein you have to go to wherein you have to show a cut pattern. Okay, most of the time this cut pattern, it becomes very difficult because Revit doesn't gives you that flexibility wherein if you change the scale, that element adapts to it. See, I have changed the scale and what has happened? This has become very compact, this has become very dense. At the time of printing these drawings, it will become a problem. Okay, similarly, if you go in 2D, if you go in 3D, what will happen? No quantity can be extracted for these elements. Okay, but how you will overcome this, that is a question. So just consider that this floor doesn't exist. What I have done is I have drawn such a beautiful floor here with these finishes. If we check this floor here, what is happening here? Here there is a screen, okay, which is resting at the bottom, and then there is a floor finish. Okay, so just imagine that client has given you the specs, and he has told you that he needs a floor in this pattern, wherein he wants quantity of all these elements. Okay, as you can see here, I can select these elements individually, and I can get these elements quantity in the schedule. Okay, I can do anything with these parts. Okay, so how I have made these parts, that I will be demonstrating. Before I proceed, if you are working with parts, the very first option that you have to enable in your setting is this parts visibility, show parts. Second is you have to check in visibility graphics whether this part is enabled or not. This is with respect to 3D view. But if you are dealing, if you are working in plan view, in 2D view, again you will follow those things. First, you have to make sure that parts visibility is turned on. Second, you have to see whether in visibility graphics whether you have enabled parts or not. And the third very most thing in 2D views is these view ray. You have to make sure that you are able to see the bottom elements also. When you start working with the parts, they behave differently with this view range. If you keep this at 0 offset in the view range, this will not be visible. See, it has vanished. The floor is there, but again, like the part, they are responding in a different manner to these viewing settings. That's the reason you have to go very bottom to see these parts. Okay, so these are the 3 settings which you will enable in order to see how this part works. Second, now how I have created this beautiful pattern, that is a question. Okay, so first what you have to do, you have to select the floor. Once you select the floor, this part option will pop up. You have to click here, and then you will be going onto this divide parts. So once you go in divide parts, there are these multiple options. First, I will show you what exactly is this edit sketch. If I go here, I can draw any pattern whatsoever in this manner, and what will happen? You will get a pattern similar to this. Okay, so this is how I have done with my creativity. You can understand how exactly you have to create this pattern. See, these are all what boundary lines, these are all sketch lines that I have done. And when I close this, as these are closed boundaries, what is happening? Revit is considering them an individual element. See this. This is one element. This is another element here. Every quantity is shown. Okay, so this is how you will be creating parts. Okay, there are other options as well. Intersecting references. Now, what is this option? For example, if I am in a elevation view, let us go in elevation view. Consider that you are there in elevation view, and you have this floor, you have this wall with you. Okay, so now let us get the grids also. Okay, grids are there. Okay, but there are no grids in our model, hence it is not coming up. Okay, so what this other option will be doing is, if I go here, if I click on parts, if I click on divide parts, first I have to first I have to specify the work plane on which I want to work, and intersecting references. So you see here in this project there are only levels, there are no grids. Okay, so now Revit is asking me how you want to make use of these levels and grids for dividing this wall. If I select level 1 and level 2, now see what will happen. Okay, so now what has happened is Revit has divided this wall considering this level as the boundary for this wall. It has divided my wall in two different elements. First element is the element which is resting in between these two levels. Second element is the element which is resting above this level. Okay, so with that intersecting references, you can also draw lines before you proceed further on dividing the parts. If I can also come up with reference plane here. Okay, I can draw this reference plane, and then if I select the intersecting references, what will happen here is, see here there are what reference plane. Okay, all the reference plane will be shown here, and then just a minute, why exactly these reference planes aren't showing up, that is a question. These reference planes aren't showing up because there is no name to this reference plane. Let me give a name to this reference plane. I will give this name as XYZ. Okay, and then this reference plane, let it be. Okay, this reference plane also, there aren't name to these reference plane. Now what will happen, this reference plane will not show in that table. I went here in edit division category, intersecting references. I will go in reference plane and see, just because I have given name to this reference plane, it will show up in this table. And now you can make use of this reference plane to tell Revit that please divide the wall considering this reference plane as a boundary. Now what has happened, Revit has considered this level and this reference plane, and it has created this wall path for me. Okay, so this is how you can make use of this intersecting references. If you want to add a part, you can add a part to it. If you want to remove the part, you can remove the part. For example, I will go here and I will select this wall. As this wall is a primary element, what is happening, just say if we close off the command, nothing will be divided. Why? Because I have removed this wall from the part. This wall was the primary element. Okay, so in that category you can add any element, you can remove any element. Okay, so now I have explained how I have created this floor finish with respect to floor. Okay, but what about the wall? What about the wall? Okay, see here, if I go in 3D, what is happening? Let me just turn off the section box. Okay, see here, there are two different walls. This is a wall with a hatch pattern, with a model pill pattern. Okay, this is a 2D pattern which shows you the different bricks, but there isn't any grout in between them. If you go on to get the material, if you go on to get the estimation for it, it is impossible. You will not be able to get it. But on the other hand, I have created this pattern, this parts for the same wall with the grout. Okay, this is a grout for these bricks, and these are all behaving as individual bricks. Okay, if client tells me that he wants to know how many bricks is coming in the entire model, how many bricks are coming in the entire model, so even I can pull out the schedule. Okay, here there are sizes according to the length. I have these many number of bricks. Okay, so for creating the schedule, again it is very simple. You will be going here in schedule quantity, go here, right click. Once you do right click, you will find the option of parts here. Okay, and then you can create a schedule. What I have done is I have given a command. I have given, let me just unselect this. Okay, not this one. Okay, what I have done is I have given this brick as the comment, and with this filter I have pulled out all the details. I have pulled out all the bricks which are there in this model. Now what Revit is doing, Revit is giving me all the information about the number of bricks which are there along with their sizes. Now just imagine how convenient it becomes for the procurement team to get these details and proceed further. Okay, so all these things can be done if you understand how you can work with parts. Okay, this was with respect to wall. What if there is a floor which has many undulations? See this. This you can see this floor which has so many undulations. Here this edge is raised up, here this edge is raised bottom, this edge is raised below, and there are these interlock patterns. Again, this is parts. Now how I have done it? Very simple. I have clicked on this floor and I have given this as the sketch. I have defined the sketch with the grout spacing. Okay, so now what Revit has done, Revit has divided the floor entire floor in different parts, and again I can get the quantity of this one. But ask yourself a question: can you do all these things with bill pattern, with any other material? It is not possible. Again, those elements will be coming as a 2D element. You will not be able to extract the quantity. You will have less freedom. You will not be able to give these individual colors as I have given. Okay, so a parts in Revit is a very beautiful tool wherein you can divide your building components such as wall, floor, ramps, everything in small parts to get the quantity and to showcase the level of development in a different way. Okay, so all these things can be achieved using parts. The previous video which I uploaded on conceptual modeling on interlock block, that is again a different method. Okay, so same thing I have demonstrated in that video, how these things can be achieved using conceptual modeling. Okay, most of the time this method is handy. That method is also handy based on the requirement, based on the time frame. All right, so I believe I have demonstrated how you can make most of it with this parts option in Revit. And again, we will be meeting in the next video. I have to decide with what series I have to come up. If you have any suggestions, let me know. And let us, as always, let us rise and shine together. Thank you so much.